The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible and consists of two contrasting yet complementary stories of the world's creation. The first story describes God creating the world in 6 days and resting on the seventh. This is the story that most Christians and Jews subscribe to. However, even within the faith, there is discussion behind the true meaning and intent of the stories of creation. We spoke to a few members of the Totnes United Free Church to find out their opinions on the story of creation.
How did the world was created? So, was it the creation story or something else?
Yeah, so I don't. You've got the story within Genesis of the Bible. I don't take that literally. There's a lot of symbolism within the Bible to do with numbers and all sorts of things, lots of symbolism. So I believe God was there. I'm not sure it was literally created in 7 days. I think that might be quite symbolic. The Bible tells us it was 7 days. But I think that's kind of how I take that. There's a lot of symbolism in the Bible, so that's how I'm seeing it. Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I happen not to believe that the world was created in 7 days, as the Bible tells us. I do believe in the fact that God was there at the start, but I believe that the Bible is not a scientific textbook. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't really investigated every theory of how the world was created, but I don't believe it was created. I personally don't believe the Genesis story was literal.
I believe in God as creator. I don't necessarily believe in a strict 7-day creation, but I think as I look at the marvels of creation, that there has to be a creator God behind everything that we see around us, and it's something that the more I discover about it, the more I marvel at the complexity and the intricacy of the creation. And so it's not a random thing. I believe in God as creator of this extraordinary creation.
These answers are examples of non-literalist takes on the creation story. They do believe that God created the world himself, but not necessarily in a strict 7 days, as Genesis supposedly says. However, it doesn't mean they think the creation story is wrong, as it can be argued that the creation story from Genesis was incorrectly translated into English. The Hebrew translation of the Bible says that it took him 7 yoms, yom meaning an inexplicit period of time. Therefore, it can be argued that it took God 7 general inexplicit periods of time to create the world, and not the 7 strict days. However, there are Christians that believe that the creation story should be read literally and is factual. For example, the Creation Research Institute believes that evolution is incorrect and that science can prove Genesis is factual and historical. One way that creation science believes they can prove the creation story is true is through similarity of design. Many species share similar organs and DNA, as well as patterns, for example the Fibonacci sequence. Now, evolution believes that they can explain this through the fact that they have a singular descendant, whereas creation science believes that they think they can prove it because they have a singular designer, God. Another proof for the creation story is the watchmaker analogy by William Paley. He says that as a watch has a design, it has a designer. The same with the world. As the world has a design, it must also have a designer, the designer of the world being God.
Overall, there is a clear lack of evidence for the creation story proposed in Genesis, thus making it hard to call the story factual truth. However, if a Christian read the story in a symbolic way, it allows their faith to live in unison with the science. Therefore, the creation story from a scientific perspective is neither true nor false due to the lack of supporting evidence either way. But from a Christian perspective, the creation story could be seen as truth, or at the very least, a symbolic way to present God's power.